Great, so I'm here today and this is the last interview of our time at the WBAF, and we're with the man himself, Baybars Altuntas, who has put this organization together. So this is the 6th year that you've done this. Phenomenal event.
Thank you.
Everyone has been saying this is the best event yet.
Thank you.
Incredible network of people that you've brought together.
We hosted 1,600 startups, private equity funds, invest from 92 countries, including Sandwich Islands around Argentina. So angel investment is everywhere, from Sandwich Islands to Australia.
So we have an international audience watching. Start with a quick 2-minute background into your story and how you got involved in this space.
As a matter of fact, I am, before becoming an angel investor, I started my life as an entrepreneur while studying at the university. Mm-hmm. I was an studentpreneur, let's say, because I was staying at the dorm. Mm-hmm. And in 1991, when I was 21 years old, some regulations changed in Turkey and private airlines started flying in Turkey. Mm-hmm. And I was studying at the university and I said, who is going to provide these flight attendants to these airlines? Mm-hmm. And I visited the dean of my university and he said, hey, this is a government university, 125 years old university. Are you proposing us now to organize flight attendants course for airlines? Mm-hmm. He said no. But rector, the president of university, said it is an interesting idea. Mm-hmm. We will open the doors of the university to the public, and people we will interact with the man on the street, mm-hmm. and we are going to learn more from them. Yeah. It's another mindset. So he said, bring the agreement. We signed the agreement and they said, how much you are going to pay to the university? Because I proposed them to use the classrooms at the weekends of the university. I said, I can't pay nothing because I don't have money. I'm staying in the dorm with my 11 other friends. Then the next year we made $5 million for flight attendants course, and my story started. And President Obama invited me to the White House. Then I became popular. From this popularity, Bloomberg TV came, and BBC is making this program now in Turkey, Dragons. Then I became Dragon, and then I understood what I was doing is labeled as angel investment. Now I'm the president of the World Business Angels Investment Board.
Cool. So first of all, let's say if you haven't read Baybars' book, go and find it. It's a great story. It takes that story and there's a lot more detail, a lot more color. Yeah. So really interesting book. Yeah. Now look, we're obviously interested in the opportunities as investors, mm-hmm. And I think you have probably one of the most unique insights into global investment trends mm-hmm. of anyone, just mm-hmm. by virtue of the connections that you've put together. Mm-hmm. So for investors that are thinking, and a lot of investors tend to be very geographically focused, so they know their own market. And I know one of your big goals is to try and connect people across multiple geographies. So what are some of the trends that you're seeing as you travel around the world and you talk to all of these investors?
First of all, everybody is looking something different, new innovative instruments, financial instruments. Entrepreneurs are looking innovative financial instruments to support their own businesses. Investors are also looking for innovative financial instruments to raise more capital for the companies they invested. Mm-hmm. So access to finance is important for both, for entrepreneurs and for investors.
Very true,
access to finance is not only in the agenda of entrepreneurs.
Very true.
So I think at the WBAF, for example, I always highlighted the importance of access to smart finance for investors do. And another new development worldwide is non-financial instruments are becoming more important than financial instruments every day.
Yeah, give me an example.
This means, for example, mentorship. This means, for example, know-how, networking. These non-financial, because investing in a company now does not mean always putting cash money in a company. Sometimes the amount of money is more valuable than its real value if it comes from a valuable source.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So such kind of things started to be very important for world entrepreneurial and investment ecosystem. And everybody is trying to make everything faster, with better, and include more things in a shorter period of time to whatever they do. If you invest, your expectation is a better return of investment in a shorter time.
Yeah.
And if you are an entrepreneur, you are trying to raise money in a shorter period of time with less, by giving less equity. So such kind of dynamics are bringing people together and opening the way to make more storming about how they can, investors, entrepreneurs, policymakers, to think about what they can do to create more value for economies.
Yeah, so you're absolutely right. And as I was looking at some statistics, even since 2000, which doesn't seem that long ago, but it's 20 years ago, the periods of time between companies getting to 100 million in revenue is getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So the technology has enabled companies to grow that much faster. And of course, that growth creates a lot of attraction and it creates a lot of people. And of course, people are very attracted to the idea of backing an early stage company and hoping it's going to be the next Uber or whatever.
Everybody is looking for the next big thing.
Everyone's looking for that. So you must, through this organization, you see a lot of people coming through with lots of ideas. What are some of the mistakes that you see investors making? Is it rushing into deals? Is it expecting too much too soon? What are some of the problems that you see?
I think not the problem, but investors also need education. This is what we have to confess. Everybody's talking about the entrepreneurship education. If we give more education training courses to entrepreneurs, it will be good for them. Okay. But what about investors? Nobody's talking about the qualifications of investors. So I think qualified investor is an important concept. So my mother, after my father dies and receives some heritage from my father, and she's not a qualified investor. She can be an investor, but not qualified.
Right.
Qualified word includes many things: know-how, mentorship, networking, and mindset. So I think anyone who thinks he has money in his pocket, he should know that it may not be a good idea to be an investor for him. This is what we have to clarify. He has to know the company valuation. He has to know the due diligence. He has to have an idea about term sheets. He has to know about how the entrepreneurs see them. And I think the criteria for becoming a qualified investor is you have to check the background profile and understand if he or she is coming from an entrepreneurial background. Because entrepreneurship is not only making you a boss or the owner of a business. entrepreneurship is also shaping your profile, shaping your mindset, and changing you. So I think entrepreneurs should understand while should also care about the people's profile while raising finance.
So this came up a lot, not so much this year, but I remember last year a big conversation was joining together in groups so that you can leverage off other people's skills. So maybe one person is particularly strong in due diligence, one person has a great network, and I think that's the angels that we see coming back are the ones that have very strong support networks and work with each other. So.
OECD statistics show that 1.2% of entrepreneurs are able to reach angel finance or investor finance.
Okay.
And one entrepreneur in every 10 entrepreneurs is able to create a success story. Success story means a good exit in the next 5 to 7 years with minimum 2.6 multiplier. This is the success story. If investor knows these statistics, then these investors will not be very keen to put his 100K to one startup. He will prefer putting it to 10 different startups with 10K. So qualified angel investor, I think, is the one who also knows the importance of a good portfolio.
Yep.
So I think the future of angel investment is going to portfolio management, by the way.
Okay.
Because 15 years ago, angel investor could invest in startups individually. That was, but now they don't prefer this. Now they are acting as a group.
Yeah.
Angel groups. Why? Because data started coming from the investments, and everybody started understanding the importance of group investments. And it is decreasing the risk and increasing the opportunities for entrepreneurs. Why? If you receive my 100K, then you receive one know-how, one internship. But if you receive this 100K from 10 different qualified investors, you have
vested interest in your
increasing.
success.
Yes, I think this became like a co-investment, because co-investment is a word we will hear in the future more. 20 years ago, for example, when I initiated my own business, in daily language, in my environment, didn't include the word of startup. It was not a word we were using, but now we are talking about startup. So I think in the very near future, we will start using co-investment more.
Okay. Very, very valid points.
Why co-investment is important? It is important because economies want more direct investment, foreign direct investments. If, let's say, South Africa wants my money from Turkey, then I have to find a co-investor from the local market. So otherwise, I cannot follow the post-investment activities for their...
And that's your philosophy with WBAF fund, isn't it? You need to have a local partner.
Yes. And at WBAF, we are bringing a new due diligence. This is the innovative part of the investment strategy. We are going to make two due diligence. One for the business and entrepreneur, and the other one due diligence for the co-investor, local co-investor. We have to accredit the co-investor in the local markets. If how this co-investor is going to carry his mentorship or know-how and network to the business. So if the local co-investor is also accredited by WBAF, then we will be able to invest in the startups of local economies.
Yeah, good. So, really useful, I think, for any investor thinking of getting involved is finding those local partners or finding the right groups. So I want to ask about a broader trend that everyone is talking about this year, which is ESG, impact investing. And I want to kind of go beyond the veneer. How much of it do you think is a genuine desire of investors now to say, you know what, I really want my money to make a difference? And how much of it do you feel is still either greenwashing, just purely for PR, or just a little bit confused still, like not really sure about what classifies as impact
investing? I will answer your question with another question.
Okay.
What is the difference between impact investment and social entrepreneurship?
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference? If I am a social entrepreneur,
Yeah.
my expectation is to make profit and
Well, very good.
reuse this profit for the same business, not to my pocket.
Yep.
But impact investments, I will look for the social value of the business and focus on the profit. But at the end of the day, I will get this profit to my pocket. This is the difference. Not if I like, I can re-put. But in the social investment, it is automatically coming to this. The difference between impact investment and regular investments, of course, return of investments is more than expected return of investment for regular investments. If we are aiming to make an exit in the next 5 to 7 years, we know that if it is an impact investment, we should accept 10 to 12 years for exits.
Right.
This means governments, public money should come more to impact investment segment, because as investors we are carrying the social social issues. We are trying to create more impact for society, and this is what, as a matter of fact, governments must care and do with our taxes. If I'm doing it, then government should also support my investments.
Okay, and you have this question I've asked you before, because I know, so a lot of investors kind of have a libertarian approach. They don't want the government involved. They just want to focus on business. I know a lot of entrepreneurs tend to work away from the political system. They kind of, the less the government's involved, the better. Your entire career, you've always kind of worked with government wherever possible. And you know, this organization, you're very keen on bringing politicians in. And what's your thinking around
why I am doing
that?
this? Because when I do you know why the United States President Obama invited me to the White House? You don't know? Because I think what we talked in this meeting was my idea. Converting public money to smart money is very important for economies. That was my idea.
Okay.
He loved this idea, and we started making it in Turkey as a pilot project, let's say. Governments today, what I see, is making a big mistake. Because entrepreneurship, startups, scale-up, these words are very trendy. They love to benefit from these trends because they are thinking that if they become the same picture, which includes such kind of trendy issues, they will get more votes. In order to take a position in startup economy, let's say, and they are donating cash money to entrepreneurs, businesses, ventures to be let's say sugar daddy for them, and they are thinking more votes will come.
Right.
More votes are not coming when they donate their money to business. Why? Because when governments put money to entrepreneurs' businesses, and if entrepreneur doesn't know how to use this money is ending 12 months later.
That's what I said, yeah.
And 12 months later, he has a bad track record on the table.
Yeah.
And when they visit the banks, etc., they are not able to raise money.
Right.
If they wouldn't be donated by the government, they would have a good idea without a bad track record, which will always keep the potential of raising finance from an angel investor. Now the government killed this opportunity.
Yeah.
And when they visit the government second time for second round investment, door is closed.
Yeah.
Because they cannot, So instead of putting money directly to entrepreneurs' businesses, it is a better idea, definitely better idea, to cooperate with angel investors. The roadmap is very simple. Government should create their own strategy to identify the qualified investors of their ecosystem. Treasury Department can do it. And when entrepreneurs visit them for money, they can invite them first to visit the accredited angel investors.
Right.
If they convince them, then they can match this investment. They can co-invest with.
So this is what Singapore did with venture capital. So basically gave a whole bunch of VCs and said, look, we will dollar match you on your investments, trusting that the VCs had the local knowledge, had the technical skills to evaluate the companies. And it transformed, Singapore's a very small market, so it's quite relatively easy, but it transformed a market that wasn't entrepreneurial at all to becoming very entrepreneurial because of that private-public cooperation. Very interesting. So, look, I'm very conscious of your time as well. I know you probably haven't slept for months, but I just want to finish up with going back to my original point about geography. You have a unique perspective because you are in the Middle East, you're in Asia, you're in Africa, Europe. I've spoken to a number of our fellow high commissioners and ambassadors from Africa, various different countries within Africa,
including Eswatini Kingdom.
Yes, and the population, the young population, and the growth that's happening in Africa right now reminds me a lot of what was happening in Asia 30 years ago. It kind of seems to have that energy about it. What are some of the opportunities and I guess pitfalls that you're seeing in that part of the world, or are there other areas that I'm not aware of that investors should be looking at?
When I was interviewed by CNN International in DC, the guy had asked me what quest means business. That was the name of the yes. And the question was, what are the main differences you see between the American and Middle East entrepreneurs, for example? I think I should now give the same answer to you, because this difference is important, and this difference I think is also possible in many different continents. For example, I'm saying the same thing because nothing changed. Some things are not changing, by the way. 20 years ago, whatever it was, it is the same thing for Middle East. McDonald's says it has 5,000 branch offices all over the world. And this entrepreneur is proud of this fact, proud of having 5,000 branch offices all over the world.
Sure.
But if you visit, for example, to a historical restaurant, let's say, founded 150 years ago, there is a big paper on the wall, and it writes, "We don't have any branch office anywhere in the world."
Right.
This entrepreneur is also proud of not having a second branch office.
Sure.
Other one, 5,000, he is proud. This one, no branch office, he is also proud of this. Yeah, so these are differences. So this means, you said you are feeling that whatever it was 30 years ago in Asia, now is in Africa, and yes, but it is very difficult. 30 years later, I don't think it will change so much.
Right.
Because culture is not changing so fast. Maybe it is taking hundreds of years. We are talking about the importance of branding. And everybody knows the importance of branding. Everybody knows how, but they are not doing it.
Right.
So knowing something is different. Execution is different. So I think if our question is between Africa and Africa's entrepreneurs' future, there are great opportunities for foreign investors for Africa, because know-how is out of Africa. And African entrepreneurs have different products, services, and mindsets. If I think these local advantage comes together with the experience
from overseas
of the world's other, and then something interesting will come on the table.
Right. So you think it's less about the geography, it's more about the combination of the skills and the experience?
Definitely, because, for example, angel investors, let's say, you are in Singapore, a Singaporean angel investor is investing in a Singaporean entrepreneur.
Yep.
That's fine.
Typically.
But I think a Singaporean entrepreneur should also receive some funds from an investor in Silicon Valley too, isn't it? Because local angel investors need also know-how, mentorship, and networking. So I think ecosystems, policymakers, angel networks, whoever is carrying this issue should find a way to attract foreign qualified angel investors for their local markets. In that case, not only the entrepreneur but the investors will also benefit from this know-how.
Yep.
If you are living in Istanbul and if you don't have any connection at Silicon Valley or in the venture capital industry of Asia or the private equity funds in Europe, etc., and you have money, you know how to make business, good. This is a Turkish entrepreneur, you are putting to him, but then, because this entrepreneur's expectation is to make a good exit, a global exit. If you make the exit in your own local market, you know the company valuation will not be so good.
So, yeah.
For example, in Europe, there's a big problem since our audience is global audience. Then Europe's main problem is scale-up problem, not startup problem. This is what 3 years ago, again, a speaker of WBAF, who was the US ambassador to EU, Anthony Gardner, had said to Europe's problem is scale-up problem, not startup problem.
Yep.
Of course, because same startup with same business model, with same business plan, is flying only 8 hours to Silicon Valley, and the company valuation here is $1 million. It is $10 million. The company valuation is changing. So they are using Europe as an incubation center.
Yeah.
And then when it is time to make the scale up, they are flying to the States. So this, there are 2 reasons, by the way, why the company valuations are better in this liquidity. And of course, the law. In Europe, if you are not happy with your staff, with your employee, it is not so easy to say goodbye. But in the States, that's not the case.
Yeah.
So when you establish your business in Europe, until you recruit your employee, he or she is a very good guy. But after that, then it is very difficult to make her, push her to create more value.
Yes, very good. So a great reminder there to have local knowledge on all things when you're investing. Look, I am very conscious of your time, so we'll wrap this up. But thank you so much, both for your time today, but also for bringing together this network. I've met some incredible people in the last 3 years. I would encourage you, if you're serious about investing make the time to come to Istanbul. It's a beautiful city.
Thank you.
Most of the other interviews we've done on the balcony overlooking the Bosphorus.
Great.
It's beautiful. So yeah, encourage you to come here, meet the guys on the ground. As Baybars says, there's a lot of opportunity for investors to learn, take their own knowledge up a level. Hopefully these videos are part of that. But nothing beats having that network. So thank you for bringing those together.
Callum, I'm thanking you so much because this is your second or third book, if I am not, third book. Maybe audience may want to learn how we met.
Yeah.
I read your other book, yes, in London, and it was very nice. And I found you from LinkedIn and wrote a message to you. And then I invited you to join the WBAF because it was really good. So I'm going to read this book with pleasure. Because I know what like a language you are using it was very enjoyable. So I'm sure this will be enjoyable too. And entrepreneurial investing, connecting sophisticated capital with talented small business. This is what all economies need. This is not only what individual entrepreneur, all economies. So I'm thanking you so much for taking such kind of important details to the agenda and World Business Angels Investment Forum, the 8th global affiliated partner of G20, hosted and workshop for this, and thank you very much. And I think entrepreneurial investing should be a series of workshops, by the way, by Callum Laing. So thank you very much for your efforts.
I have to warn you, whenever you have a conversation with Baybars, you normally end up agreeing to a whole bunch of things that you weren't expecting to agree with. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.